Hello YouTube, it is your boy Godzilla Illy back with another great gaming review. We have another Nintendo Switch review today, and one I know you all have wanted for a very long time. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Fine, let's get into it. First off, I just want to say, I don't feel like we really needed another Johto remake. We didn't need another Gen 1 remake. And I'm fine with another game being in that region. But if we have another regular game in that region, it should really have a totally different story, and you should be able to catch way more Pokemon, and etc., etc. But this game pretty much had the same story as Yellow, which on one hand I'm like, I didn't want the regular Gen 1 story again, and on the other hand I'm like, I kind of like that it was a remake of Yellow and not a remake of Red, Blue, Green. I kind of liked that it was a remake of the director's cut. So a remake of a director's cut seems excessive, but I'm glad they didn't just give us Red, Blue again. They did something a little different, because you don't get the choice of the regular 3 starters in Yellow. You know, you get stuck with Pikachu, and then you can get the other starters other ways. And then it's the same way for this game, too. If you buy Let's Go Pikachu, you start out with Pikachu, and if you buy Let's Go Eevee, you start out with Eevee. I don't recommend evolving your starter at all. You can get more Pikachu almost right away to evolve. And you can also get yourself a little Eevee. Not right away, but maybe about halfway through the game. You know, in the same place you catch Ponyta. I spend a lot of time there because I'm shiny hunting for Ponyta, but no luck yet. So you get that starter, and after you catch a certain number of Pokemon, you can get each other starter from other trainers. And it has a lot of references to the anime, which I thought was very cool, because you get Bulbasaur from the Pokemon Shelter Lady, you get Charmander from a guy who can't train it properly, except he's not as much of a dick as he was in the anime and doesn't abandon Charmander. He actually just adopts Charmander from him because he's not able to take care of it. And then Squirtle does actually commit crimes, like he is a punk, and you get him from Officer Ginny, and it's kind of like he's on parole as your Pokemon. It's pretty funny. And then you can get all the Mega Stones for them later in the game as well. Also, you get both the Mega Stones for like Charizard and stuff, so you can go back and forth and choose, and you don't have to use them as equip items because you don't have equip items. So you can just use it for any of the starters' full evolutions whenever you want, which is kind of neat. There's some pretty cool stuff in this game, like story-wise. I mean, you get to fight Blue. Red, you can go fight Red at some point. You also can fight Green after you catch Mewtwo, which is pretty cool. That's actually one of the fun parts of the game, is battling Green. I really, really enjoyed battling Green. She was fun. She chucks a bunch of Pokeballs at you, though, because she's super jealous that you caught Mewtwo and she didn't. But whatever. I do have Mew because I have the Pokeball Plus controller. I don't want to really judge the game based on how the Pokeball Plus controller works, so I'm not really going to talk about it. I might review the controller by itself, but it's not something I really want to do, so I probably won't. But yeah, I don't feel like I need to explain the story how it goes to any of you, because you've probably played one of these games, Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, or something like that at some point. You know, I honestly don't ever want to see a Johto remake ever again. But I do actually have a lot of good things to say about this game. 1, the graphics are pretty rad. 2, I love how you can see what Pokemon are where in the grass. It's not a random surprise, and you can easily avoid them. You still have repels, but they mostly keep Pokemon from spawning instead of just keeping Pokemon from attacking you. So you can actively see where they are and avoid Pokemon and go straight to the Pokemon you want to catch. I adore that feature. It's because obviously this game is a combination of the regular RPGs and Pokemon Go. The entire point of this game is to get the people who play the RPGs to play Pokemon Go, and to get the people who play Pokemon Go to play the RPGs. Of course, I've always played both, so it doesn't really matter to me. But you can connect this game to Pokemon Go so that you can spawn Meltan on Pokemon Go, and you can take Pokemon from Pokemon Go and put them on Let's Go, which is all fun. That's how I got Ammonite on my Let's Go. But yeah, I mean, it's not really anything super fancy, but it really helps with Meltan. Like, because to really get Melmetal in Pokemon Go, if you don't have Pokemon Let's Go, is just to walk it, and that's almost impossible. They make it almost impossible to get Meltan and Melmetal in Pokemon Go if you don't have Pokemon Let's Go. So, the battle style is a bit more simplistic than in regular games. I know we're still going to get the regular RPGs, which is good, but this battle style was really just, it was still turn-based, attack, and etc., but you didn't have abilities, and you didn't really have items either. So just real streamlined and simple. You can beat this game pretty fast. I wouldn't really care for tournaments with this game battling. Because when I battle the NPCs, I don't really care as much about abilities and items and stuff, but when I'm playing against real people, the manipulation of items and abilities is really what makes that fun. That's really what makes it more fun. So, as far as the NPCs go, and the story, I don't really care about not having the items or abilities, but when it comes to PvP, I missed items and abilities. I hope that makes sense. The Pokedex on this game is relatively easy to complete. You can only get Kanto Pokemon, and can only trade Kanto Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Let's Go. Or not trade, transfer. And of course there are different Pokemon on each game. Most of the Pokemon can be found on both games, but there are several Pokemon that are version exclusives, just like there always have been. There are some that are on Let's Go that aren't on. There are some that are on Pikachu that aren't on Eevee. You know what I'm saying, fuck you. But even though you can't get like Johto or Hoenn, you can get Alolan variants of the Kanto Pokemon. So you can get the Alolan versions. Like you can get Alolan Ninetales, aka prettiest Pokemon that ever existed. You can get Alolan Exeggutor and whatnot. Many of the Alolan Pokemon are actually version exclusives, so you are going to have to trade for them. And the way you get Alolan Pokemon in the game is there are people who will trade you an Alolan version for the regular version. They're like tourists from the Alolan region or something like that, and they'll trade you an Alolan for a regular. Ta-da. But all in all, I say Pokemon Let's Go is actually worth the $60 price tag, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes Pokemon games can get a little monotonous. Yet it can feel like you're playing a very similar, if not the same game over and over and over again. And the reason they've been able to get away with that is because it's such a fun format. A fun, addicting format. But if you were gonna remake the Johto region again, I'm glad you at least made a very, very different game out of it. Hopefully it'll get Pokemon Go players into the regular game and regular players into the Pokemon Go game. I feel like most regular players have at least tried Pokemon Go, however. And I wouldn't mind another game in this format. I wouldn't mind a remake of Crystal in this format. I would actually love a remake of Emerald in this format. Perhaps Platinum. Maybe just do the director's cut games in this format. And if you want to remake the regular games in the regular format, that's fine. But space them out, Don't give us like a Gen 4 remake and then immediately give us a Let's Go Platinum. It wouldn't be called that. It'd be called Let's Go something else, but I don't know. You'd have to space those out. Also, Gen 4 is kind of boring except for Platinum versions, so. But I already reviewed those. So that's it for our review of Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee on the Nintendo Switch. I feel like many of you might ask this. I did get Let's Go Pikachu because I did a poll on Facebook, and most of my friends said that they were going to get Let's Go Eevee, and then most of my friends actually ended getting Let's Go Pikachu, and I was like, what the hell? Why did you do that? But yeah, at least I could dress my little Pikachu up in nice little, cute little costumes. That part was actually really fun. You can get matching outfits with your starter, which is great. And I know I said this was over, but I do want to talk about the post-game a little bit. One thing that I always really judge Pokemon games on is the post-game. So, now that I've finished my review for the regular game, I'm going to talk about the post-game. The post-game is weird. Like, you can rematch the gym leaders and stuff, which I really love, to be completely honest, because they're much stronger, have more Pokemon. I really like being able to rematch people. You can, of course, rematch the dumbass Elite Four or whatever. And you can also do these, like, master battles. So, all the Pokemon have master battles you can do. The legendaries, I don't think are really master battles. They're something else, but I didn't do them because they're kind of boring. You have to take your Pokemon up to, like, level 70 or 75, and then you have to battle the master of that Pokemon, just that Pokemon versus just their version of that Pokemon. And you make them fight to see who is the master of that Pokemon, and then you get, like, the master rank. I got the Master Pikachu rank, and then I was like, why? What was the point? I'm not going to do that for 151 Pokemon. It's boring. And I'm not going to raise some of these Pokemon to level 75 and not evolve them. Like, it's real tedious and stuff. It's something that would take a long time to do, and I kind of admire that about it. But at the same time, it's kind of boring. If you're really going to do it, it forces you to train Pokemon that you wouldn't normally use, and I guess that's kind of cool. But if you just don't want to use those Pokemon, or if it's a Pokemon you, like, really hate using, then it's going to be an eye roller. So that's it for this review in its entirety. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. That is it. Thank you all once again. And I guess I'm out of here. Don't expect to see a video game review for a little bit longer. Peace out.